We didn't go through anything unforgivable.
Yeah.
I'm just hurt by how little you tried.
Wow. That line really grabs you, doesn't it?
It really does. It's hard.
Yeah. It's the starting point for our deep dive today. We're looking at something, well, maybe a bit quieter than big relationship blow-ups. How sometimes it's the lack of effort that really unravels things. Our sources are focused right on that.
Right. This idea that connections can end not with a bang, but just fizzle out because the trying stops.
So our mission, you could say, is to figure out why that lack of trying is such a breaker, even when maybe the love is technically still there.
Precisely.
Yeah.
We usually look for the big dramatic reasons, betrayal, huge fights.
Yeah, the obvious stuff.
But this material, it really highlights how this slow erosion of care, the simple absence of trying, that can be incredibly damaging, maybe even more so sometimes.
Okay, so it's not always about massive conflict. The sources mention things like silence, not calling, not trying,
Yeah.
taken alone, maybe they don't seem like huge deals. So why do they end up hurting so much? Well, I think it's the buildup, isn't it? The accumulation.
Okay.
Like each time effort isn't there, it sends this little signal, maybe subconsciously at first.
A signal of what? Like you don't matter?
Sort of, yeah. Or at least you're not a priority right now. It's not the one missed call that kills it. Usually it's the pattern, that feeling of, consistently being put second or third.
That makes sense. And the sources really flip that, too. They talk about the power of making an effort.
Oh, absolutely.
There's that simple line. Effort. It's the simplest yet most powerful way to show someone they matter.
It really is foundational. Love as a feeling inside someone's head, that's one thing. But effort is how you show it, how the other person actually experiences it.
So without the effort, the love becomes, what, invisible?
Pretty much, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It might still be there. The person might say they love you, but if their actions don't back it up, if they're not trying, doubt creeps in.
Right. You start thinking, do they really care? Am I important?
Exactly. And that feeling, that loss of security in the connection, that's really tough to recover from.
Which ties into another really key quote. People don't always leave because they stopped loving. Sometimes they leave because they no longer feel loved.
Mm-hmm. That distinction is crucial.
It's not necessarily that the love vanished entirely, but the feeling of being loved starved because the effort wasn't there.
And if you think about what we need fundamentally as humans, feeling seen, feeling valued by the people close to us, that's huge.
Absolutely.
When that's missing, even if love is supposedly floating around somewhere, the relationship just feels empty. It weakens. What good is love if it isn't felt?
The sources also touched on that really sad what-if scenario.
Mm-hmm.
The relationship that maybe could have been saved.
Yeah, with just a little something.
Like reaching out or just saying, I'm sorry, or even as simple, hey, I'm still here, just acknowledging the other person.
It highlights those small moments, those missed opportunities to show you care.
Compared to just silence.
Right. Those small gestures, they signal intention. They say, this connection is worth a little energy to me. Silence. Well, silence often says the opposite. It says you're not worth the effort. And that, as the material points out, can be deeply painful.
So wrapping it all together, the main takeaway seems to be, well, relationships aren't self-sustaining. They need fuel.
And that fuel is effort. Consistent effort.
Yeah, there was that great analogy. Relationships run on effort. They begin with care, but survive through intention.
Mm-hmm.
Effort is love in action. And love without action slowly disappears.
That puts it perfectly. Feeling the love isn't enough. You've got to show it regularly, intentionally. Otherwise, yeah, it just fades. Not from some big drama, but from neglect, lack of nourishment.
So summing up our deep dive today, it's often those quiet letdowns, those small lacks of effort that can really erode a connection over time.
It's not always the shouting matches. Sometimes it's the silence that does the real damage.
Definitely. And the sources leave us with a hopeful note too, sort of.
Yeah, that if there is a chance to fix things, maybe consider making that small effort.
Sometimes one message, one gesture is enough to change everything.
It's a powerful reminder, isn't it? That small actions can have big consequences.
They really can.
Yeah.
So for you listening, maybe just take a second to think about effort in your own connections.
Yeah.
Giving it, receiving it.
Yeah, how does it shape the bonds in your life?
It might seem minor, but as we've seen, its absence or its presence, well, it speaks volumes.